You are listening to the WB Download, coming to you from Wieland Builders showroom in Studio 1C. We are a podcast centered around building custom homes, the customer experience of building a custom home, and a really entertaining listen from many great guests and interviews that may or may not have anything to do with building. I'm excited to share with you their voice and their stories that will enhance your idea of the custom builder world. Well, hello everybody. Welcome once again to the WB Download. I'm Jeff Wieland, president of Wieland Builders, coming to you here on the 26th of November, Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. Welcome everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We're rolling into the holidays, and I say it every week, man, I just can't believe how quickly it comes. And this is what this week is all about, is bringing people together and eating a lot of food, and of course doing some shopping. Shopping means, for me, every year for the last 3 years, I've gone up to Muskingum County and went to a cattle sale, because they do a Black Friday sale up there, and it's not a sale like on sale, it's an auction where they're selling cattle, and I go up there and see what we can't find, something fun for the year to bring back to the herd. So that's my method, my hillbilly method of doing Black Friday shopping. So hey, we got a lot of exciting stuff for us anyway that's happening. Man, it just seems like we're meeting so many cool people right now. We're so busy, and you know, Lish is lining these people up to come in here, and we're having a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of good business stuff happening, and it shows that the future's bright. So we're pretty pumped up about it. The office is finally starting to come back together. We've had some back orders on some hardwood, so we can't really finish the floors in here yet, but we've got the drywall done. We've got the carpet done. If you didn't listen to the last episode there, we had a water line bust on the second floor of our office over the weekend, of course, not while we were here, and flooded the whole building, wiped us out, and our side of the building anyway. And we've been rebuilding. So it was tragic. And like I tell everybody, man, I love this place. Built it and just designed it with Mark and Durkers, and just put everything we had into this thing. And when I walk in and see water raining down through the ceiling, it was just heartbreaking. So I'm glad we're getting it put back together, and maybe some things will start to be back to normal, and people will start enjoying being here again. So you know, our rental house, I think I told you about that, where the people were just disgustingly ruined it and destroyed it. We've got that on the market, finally got it finished up and cleaned up. And that'll be our last one, due to the experience we've had with morons living in these houses, which were once nice houses. But anyway, the other thing is, Leanne told me to be positive today, so I'm trying to be positive. These are good things that are happening right now. And another cool thing, we're next week, or I guess it's this week, we are going to a cabinet facility down in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, called Mauser Cabinetry. It's a custom company. And, you know, we have a custom cabinet company that is guys in a shop building cabinets, and that to me is custom. We are going to Mauser, which is they're building cabinets down there for sure, but I think the custom side of it comes, this is more of a production line, and the custom side of it comes that we're ordering special sizes, which makes it custom. You can do custom colors and things, but we're excited to go down there and with KBR and check these guys out and see what they do. It's always good for us as a company to get out together, go on a field trip, spend some time together outside of the office, and learn something new about a new product, and spend time with one of our vendors that we cherish. So it's going to be really cool. We're looking forward to that. That's going to be in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. I had the opportunity last week, me and some other builder friends of mine, to sit down with John Husted, our Lieutenant Governor of Ohio, and have a conversation with John and talk about building and what things look like for the state. And man, he's just a great guy. He's from Dayton. I've known him for a number of years, and I was telling him a story when we saw him, how he and I were in a meeting over 20 years ago when he was Speaker of the House with the Township Trustees Association. And so we were talking about some old times, talking about good times right now. And just man, I left that meeting and just, he's such a great person and understands what it's like to have a business, and understands less regulation, which is really, really important. And I just always have a good feeling about when we leave a meeting like that with him. So, hey, that's what's happening in the world right now. We just got hit with some cold weather last week, and it drops. And I hate it for the animals outside, because it's not like it goes, it's like 50 and then 52 and then 40 something. I mean, it goes from 55, 60 degrees to overnight 30 with wind chills of 20, and we got a lot of snow that didn't really stick and affect the roads, but it stuck on the ground. So we had some good snow here, and it got a little bit cold, and it is what it is. So the cows are all doing good, and we're looking for that first calf to come here in January, and then everybody else is going to start again in March. And then we're going to start breeding here this week. We put the bull in there at Thanksgiving every year for our fall calvers. And so we've got 2 bulls, and one of them is our big Angus bull. His name's Whiskey. And then our other bull is a semi-Angus bull, or actually he's a purebred Simmental bull. And his name is Ole. And Ole is going to breed all of the, what we call teenagers, the first calf heifers, and Whiskey's going to go in the big field with the big cows, and then we'll put them all together and just let them go through the winter. We got two of them to haul to Hillsboro to get rid of because they're just not looking good, and they're not going to do us any good, and I don't want to feed them all winter. So we've got 2 or 3 to take out there. And that's my excuse to go buy more cows. So anyway, so once again, everybody, thanks again for listening, and happy Thanksgiving to you. I want to introduce our guest that we have today, and it's Lighting EFX. And you could say it FX, like effects, Lighting FX, or EFX. Lighting EFX is owned by Todd McKinley, and our representative there is Lisa Abraham. We've been doing business with these folks for a number of years, and they do an excellent job. And you just have no idea how important these people are to us. And just like when I was talking about our Alex from Custom Distributors, Lisa is a very integral part of our team, and we do not want her to create a purchase order and we buy a light fixture from her. We want our customers to go over to their showroom, sit down with her, have an experience. She helps them design the fixtures, the lights, and you'll hear her talk about things today that are very intriguing to me, the way she thinks about things, the way she looks at things, the passion that she has for the industry. And the same thing with Todd, how he got involved in this. He's been doing it for a really long time. His thoughts on how he operates his business, and it kind of aligns, his values align with us here at Wieland Builders. And once again, I left this interview thinking, wow, I'm so grateful to be surrounded by people like this. I'm so grateful that we are on the same team, and that our customers can rely on Todd and Lisa at Lighting FX to be able to have a great experience. So, once again, like I said, I'm just super grateful, and I want to bring them on here. This is Todd McKinley and Lisa Abraham from Lighting FX. All right. Like I said, once again, everybody, we have Todd McKinley and Lisa Abraham from Lighting EFX. Let me ask you this. Is it EFX or FX? Like effects? Like it affects you and me, or is it?
It's both. It's
okay.
both.
All right.
Whatever just kind of flows out. Lighting EFX usually
let it
flows
play.
a little better than
there you
FX.
go.
But
good. Welcome to the show.
Thing.
Thank you guys for being here.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I'm excited to talk to you today about whatever comes to mind. But I can't remember how long we've been doing business together, but it's been a minute.
Yeah.
Right?
It's been a while.
I mean, probably a couple of weeks. Probably.
Yeah, a couple of weeks, yes.
I think it's been like maybe 10 or 12 years or more. Maybe. Yeah, at least.
At least 10.
Ever since we've opened up the Cincinnati store, I feel like we've been doing business, because I know I used to call on your father like forever.
Did
we used to ride motorcycles all the time, but he would never give me his business. But I kept trying, and then finally happened.
Yeah.
So
well, that wasn't him.
It wasn't him. No.
Well, I remember going when you guys were over off Route 4.
Yeah.
I remember going and walking in, and Robin, or I think Christine might have been doing.
Yeah, I'll bet Christine was there, sitting in the front.
Yeah, and then talked to Robin, and I think you guys might have been getting lighting from somewhere else at the time. But
I'm sure we were, because we've been in business for 100 years. Yeah. So we were like, we did put lights in our houses. Trust. Yeah. Well, I remember, from when I was a little kid, we dealt with Northern Lights all the time, and that family, what was their name? Gail's family. They kind of ruled the market, and they were over on Coleraine Avenue and Galbraith Road, I think. And I remember going in there because light people have lights everywhere, and when you walk in, it's crazy. And then then I don't know what they did, if the family kind of retired and the kids went different ways, and then it was kind of like, what are you going to do from there? So, and I was really excited to get hooked up with you guys so many years ago and start doing business with you. So give me some history here. How does one decide, you know what, I'm going to get in the lighting business? What does that mean? So Todd, you own this place, right?
So I own this place. I own it 100%. This goes back, I graduated college and I got a normal job like everybody else did. And I just hated it. It just wasn't for me. And when you're down and you don't like what you're doing, and I said, I got to get into something that I really want to do. So I actually bought into the lighting business 32 years ago. I had a partner. We were 50-50. It worked for about a year. I ended up buying him out. And that was the start. It was over in Florence, Kentucky. That's where my original showroom is. And then I grew and came over to Cincinnati. I think it was, I don't know what year it was, 2008, right when the economy was horrible.
Yeah, that was great
horrible.
timing.
And everybody used to make fun of me because I made that jump. I opened up another showroom. But I actually had a fantastic employees came with me, and a few builders jumped ship and came with me, and it allowed me to, I still look back and I'm like, I can't believe I did that. It was very gutsy, and it all panned out and it all worked. I mean, I'm a hard worker, and things just worked out.
There were some times there, and when we were in survival mode, I mean, we're dying to just stay alive. And then there was other people, some friends of mine own a company called Siteworks. They're road builders, and they started their company about that time because the company that they worked with was no longer going to be in business at the time. And they all had to go out and figure out something to do. And so people like you that made moves, not that wasn't your story, but I mean, people like you that made moves in that time to step forward. It seemed like we were in the Great Depression recession for like 100 years, but we were only there for about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, which was really a long time. And then it started ticking up in 2011, and next thing you know, you're back in the game again. So I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when I look back at what I did. I'm not tooting my own horn, but I mean, it's kind of.
You kind of are. This podcast is about you, just so you know. This podcast.
He's a great guy to work
just focus your attention on me. No. But
is Lisa here?
Yeah, no. But and again, I wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for my fantastic employees and friends. I mean, we are a fantastic company. We all get along, And
that's really cool.
It's great. I mean, I don't think any of us wake up and hate to go to work.
No.
So it's fun, and it's we're selling lights.
How many stores do you guys have?
There's two. Florence, Kentucky, and Westchester.
Okay, and you were like your first store over here was off of Montgomery Road, right?
No, I had nothing to do with that.
Okay, all right. No. Okay, all right. No. I must have.
I worked there.
Okay.
I worked there when I was in high school. That's how I knew of the lighting business, because I went to Sycamore High School. So in summers, I used to work there. I would deliver lights. I would work in the warehouse. So I kind of knew a little bit about the lighting business. That's how I got into it 32 whatever years ago.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
So Lisa, what makes you are our representative from Lighting EFX, and you do a tremendous job. And I always talk about people who are part of our team. And so when it comes down to you, we do not want to go and pick out a light fixture and buy it and then move on. We want to come and meet with you guys, and we want to go through the house and talk about rooms and talk about decor and talk about how it's going to light the room, how it's going to blend into the design. And it takes more than just, yep, here's your receipt and we're going to move on. And that's you. I mean, you're part of our team that does that. And Todd he really doesn't do anything. I get it. So I mean, I appreciate you bringing him along. But seriously. But so how did you decide, and how did you decide to get into the lighting business?
So I went to UC, graduated from DAP.
Yeah.
Design, Art, Architecture,
Planning.
Planning.
That program.
And then
one of the best known in the country, right?
Yeah. It's a great program. And got out, was, doing some design stuff. I was got married, had kids.
Oh. I forgot about that.
Worked at home doing custom window treatments for a while my boys were younger. And then a woman, you may know her, Todd knows her, Carol Clark.
Oh, gosh. Yes, I do.
She, so my husband owned a gym, a fitness center. And I was working at the front desk, and, I hired all the people to work at the front desk. And Carol was a member, and she came in and she's like, you need to get back in your design, and you need to come get into lighting. So that's how, just through her, Well, and I made window treatments for a couple of her clients and stuff too. So
how long ago was that?
Oh gosh, let's see. That was 1990-ish.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't realize you were at it that long.
Yeah.
That's good.
And then went to her where she was. I think it was decor. It might have been decor.
Yeah, decor.
And then followed her to Central Light. It's like once all of us, all of the employees that,
it's a big group
that worked for Todd, we've worked together just at different places as they've gone out of business or whatever.
It's not like you can go and buy light fixtures anywhere, for when you're a builder and get set up like, when it was Central Light and before that it was like Sharonville, Rexel, and then it was Northern Lights and companies like that. But Central Light was kind of like that one that took over, and then they were a victim of the recession there in 2008 and 9. But I always think that people just follow wherever Jerry Lynn goes. That's where we go. And Jerry Lynn is the king of all things.
He is.
So he looks like Mick Cronin, but I mean it's still his name's Jerry Lynn. But so seriously, so that's a lot of history and a lot of experience. I didn't know that you went to UC. Did you guys go to UC together? Were you there at the same time?
I think we probably were. I was there 85 to 90. So I probably got into lighting more like 94.
Okay.
But I was there 85 to 90.
Yeah.
I know. So it probably overlapped a little.
I was probably 90, 91.
Isn't it such a small world?
Such a long time ago.
You guys were probably sitting in the same classroom.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I see people today, especially in where we live in Lebanon, and there's a couple coaches for the football team, and I'm like, we played against each other in high school, and I get all excited about it, and I'm like, I don't care, whatever. But then I met a guy at Home Rama this year that he's got a barbecue business where he's selling grills and selling all kinds of different things. And I played football against him at the same. I mean, we literally played, like, it wasn't like we were on the same team or playing. We were played against each other on the line, and we just start catching up. And it's always just a small world where you hated each other's guts at one point in time, and then all of a sudden you're like, "This is so cool! Hi, how are you?" So I wanted to say that because you and I were talking before, Todd. You and I were talking before we got started here that you played football for UC.
Yep.
So what position did you play?
I was inside linebacker.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
was great.
That's great.
Love hitting people.
Get any
I still want to hit people. I would love to put a helmet on and hit some people. Let me tell you.
What do you do with all your anger now?
I don't know. I don't have it.
That's good. That's good. You don't need it. it. So what's your favorite part, Lisa, of the lighting business? What's your favorite part of this whole thing?
I love seeing the finish once the lights are hung and the house is all decorated, and I just love walking in because it's like just wow.
What's the most expensive light fixture you've ever sold? Either one of you?
That I've actually that I've seen or sold.
Well, yeah. What's that you've seen?
Oh, I mean, there's $50,000.
Yeah, there's some crystals out there that are $50,000, $75,000.
Yeah.
But you don't sell those too often. But
that'd be nice.
It's more or less the culmination. Like there's some house jobs that we've done that people will put 100,000, 150. There's one I think. Another salesperson's working on right now that's almost like up to $180,000 worth of lighting in one house. So you can imagine if that's 1% of the house, you can imagine what the other house, what they're doing. So lighting it's crazy.
Yes,
it is.
It's just
it makes such a huge difference.
It really does.
Oh, of course,
it really does.
I mean, it's the whole deal. You don't see anything without the lights.
As tacky as it sounds, I mean, I put this in some of my ads when I do advertising. It's like the jewelry of the house, right?
Exactly.
It's you fix up everything, and it's the jewelry at the very end, and that makes it look good.
Yeah,
and it's really the cheapest part of the whole house when you think about it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Especially at lighting.
Here we go. Let's start talking numbers.
Not cheapest. What's the word? Cost effective.
Yeah. And a grand scheme of things, you're right. I mean, when you think about percentages on the total price of the house, absolutely. Yeah. It's a minimal price, but it's also you're like the finished products that you put that don't go into the structure of the frame of it, and the finished product is always seems like that stuff is a little bit more in tune with the numbers on it. But so you're back to your favorite part of it. You like the end product, like when you get to come through and see the finished part, like all these different selections and things. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love working with the customers, with clients. They're, just once they start to get on a roll and picking things, they start to get excited, which I love to see.
Yeah.
When they feel, because at first they're really like, oh my gosh, I need help, or don't know where they're going. But then once they start to make a couple selections and start to see how things are flowing, they get excited.
Well, I think it's an unexpected surprise because I think about it like when we talk through different things in our proposals with people, and we talk through the details of our contract, and you get to things like, doorknobs or baseboard, and you're kind of like, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. And you think about lighting, and you're like, yeah, you have an allowance. And at that point, you're just kind of like, well, you have an allowance, and you don't really have the effect. But then when you get into your showroom and you start thinking about these things and start thinking about the entire room coming together and being lit up, I think that sparks a new energy. And you're like, I had no idea that this was going to be so many different things, that are going to bring those lighting light fixtures together and get them excited about the home. So that's a good point. I think a lot of people, we do a thing where we call it date night, and this is before the light fixtures go up, because we don't want to put the light fixtures up too early before they get too dirty and everything. But you want to remind people to fall in love with everything. And so when we're building the house, too many times they get hung up on, they're out on the site for a meeting, and then the music's playing and people are talking, and you're back and forth, and you forget that this is supposed to be fun, and you're getting to do some of the coolest stuff that a lot of people don't get to do. So when those lights finally get put up, you forget that, man, we picked this. Oh, I forgot about this. And oh man, so you can walk through the house and you can hear the oohs and ahs, and that's really neat.
Yeah, there's a few things like during that process that you really look forward to. Like I'm sure like the countertops going in is a big deal. The lighting is a big deal. Like when you just put paint up or you put baseboards up, that's not really anything to get excited about. But yeah, those things that really make a difference are kind of
the jewelry.
The jewelry.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. So where do you start with someone when they walk in and they're coming, because I hope that we've sent you a plan or something like that. You've seen something. But where do you start with our customers when they walk in the door? Do they walk in the door? Do you start with them somewhere else?
They do walk in the door. It's usually the first time that I meet them. I've seen their plan in advance, and they just kind of, we greet them, of course, very friendly, and kind of go through the showroom, kind of get a feel of what they like, what they, maybe colors they like, what they're drawn to. And usually Kelly or Robin, is there. And we just kind of go through. I usually like to start with the exterior first.
Yeah.
Give them a couple wins. Exterior is pretty easy to do, and just so they can make some selections, feel good about it. And we start there, and then just kind of go through the house, starting with the...
everybody's different, right? You're probably, some people are going in on thinking about a kitchen fixture, or they're thinking about something, but you're right. That exterior stuff, the selections are probably less maybe than what's on the interior, but you can knock that out pretty quick. So do you need to know siding and brick and shingles and metal roofs and all those kind of things to blend the type of fixture and the finishes?
Yes. And that's where it's... Because I'm just seeing a plan, so it's always so helpful to have when Kelly or Robin are there with what the customer's already selected, so we kind of know colors and that things blending. And
how do you, Todd? How do you decide what fixtures you're going to offer? Like, how do you what do you do to keep up on the trends and like I'm sure you have Seagull, and you have all these people who are reps and things like that. Maybe you don't have Seagull.
Well, and it's a constant battle, because there's a lot of reps that I like dealing with. There's a lot of manufacturers I like dealing with. So my job is in Lighting EFX is I do all the purchasing. I have many hats that I wear, but my main thing is doing all the purchasing, which I love to do. Mm-hmm. So after they they do all the work with the customers, and they put the job in, then I do all the ordering, and it separates per manufacturer. And some manufacturers are fantastic at what they do, and my dealings with them are easy. Some are kind of a nightmare. I have to hold their hand through everything. But as far as what goes in the showroom, it's really it's what benefits all of us, and I want to put in the showroom of the manufacturers that have the best quality and what's easy to deal with, because we have to see it all the way through. Yeah, and we have to warranty it and everything. And I want to deal with manufacturers that have good product, stand behind their product, and are easy to work with. And I have a rep that's local, like you mentioned, Jerry Lynn. He's fantastic, and he reps some of the best lines that I carry. So of course I'm going to throw him business. I put your stuff in my showroom and I'll sell it. There's other reasons that I do that, and that's financial stuff on the back end that I'm not going to tell you about.
Sure. But, that's business.
It's business. You gotta, it's all business. But again, I'm not going to jeopardize putting a line that they don't like selling or I don't like dealing with just to make an extra buck.
Sure.
It just doesn't work that way.
So do you guys have weekly meetings, monthly meetings, quarterly meetings where you're meeting with your sales team and you're meeting with designers and you're talking about like, hey, this is new or we should jump on this? Or
we really don't. We don't.
Yeah.
I that's just something I just never got into, and I feel like I'm so involved in business in my Kentucky store and my Ohio store. We all talk. I mean, do we officially get together and have meetings? No, we don't do that. I don't feel like we need to because we all kind of know what's going on. I mean, we're all kind of a group. It's not like Todd's the boss and they're my employees. It's we're all friends. We all work together hand in hand.
Yeah.
I mean, we all kind of need each other and we follow jobs from the beginning to the end. So
and keeping up with the trends, our reps will bring new product in or, keep us updated. And we, each of us on our own too, keep up with everything that's.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, otherwise you're like, you get into a clerical position where you're just like, do you want that one? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Then you move on and you have to keep up with the design.
Right. We really rely on our reps to show us the new product when new catalogs come out, new ideas, new this and that. And they share it with everybody. And there's also a lot of emails that go out that everybody sees and I'll get feedback from them like we need to put this on display. We need to put this on display. This will sell really well. So which we really do try to keep up with having current stuff in the showroom because you want to send your customers in to a showroom that has the latest and greatest. And I do feel like we have that. I mean, our showroom just keeps getting better and better. I mean, in the last couple of months, we've done some major construction with some of these manufacturers they'll come in and they'll put displays together and they'll display their products in these little vignettes. And it's fantastic. It's beautiful. And it just sells their product. It becomes easy to sell, and it's a beautiful thing.
Here's an off the wall question. I mean, how often do you clean that showroom? Because I always would walk through there and I think about, oh my gosh, you have to go through and dust and clean all this stuff.
So every morning I get up and I work out and then I go in and I clean every fixture.
Look at you.
No.
I know you do. I know you do.
They're honestly probably dirty. You just don't know.
You're like, oh gosh.
I know. Forgot about that. Call me out.
Well, one of our I won't say her name, but she knows who she is. I mean, fanatic about dirt.
Yeah.
So she does a wonderful job. Glass fixtures when it gets dirty.
That's good. Talking about.
That's good. That's good.
But so, we take turns cleaning.
And the showroom is very clean. So somebody's doing. I do
clean.
My share. We all do our share, and it looks good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a small business. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
So do you own is it like a car dealer? Or is it a floor plan, or do you have to buy all those fixtures, or are they giving you the fixtures to sell and you're hanging them up there? I mean,
some manufacturers they'll give. Some manufacturers will give you a discount. It's a battle because that showroom space is valuable. And I can kind of wheel and deal with that kind of stuff. So, and you have to do that when things become discontinued. I need to sell them off the floor, and that's usually retail people or sometimes even a house job. They'll buy a piece off the floor, but then I need to replace it. So that's where my skills come into play, and I wheel and deal, and that's part of the fun too.
Sounds fun.
It is actually fun, and I'm very nice to these reps, and they want to deal with me. There's a lot of showroom owners that are difficult, and I'm like, I do not want to be that person. So I think a lot of people like dealing with Lighting EFX because it's easy to do business with us.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm very fair.
I would agree. I mean, I think it's easy to do business. You guys are less than a mile away from us, which is really cool. That's right. But I would agree it's easy to do business with you. So so what are some common woes, some lighting issues that people have in this business that would just drive you crazy? Anything?
So,
maybe not.
Yeah, no, there are a few. Well, one is the antique brass finish that is just so popular, but there's so many shades of the antique brass.
I know.
And it feels like it's getting warmer too. The metals and things are getting warmer and warmer. But each manufacturer calls it something different. And for some people, it's not a problem, but some people are they have to match dead on. And that gets a little tricky. So we have to order finished samples from different manufacturers. Yeah. That's one. One thing might be maybe like discontinued product or something. When a person comes in to select, we get everything all together, but then maybe when it comes time to order or something, or because sometimes we do things 6 to 8 months in advance,
Yeah.
or sometimes more. So sometimes a product is discontinued.
And we're building these big houses, and it takes a
Yeah.
lot longer to get to the finish line, and which is about
Yeah.
where you guys are in the process, and that becomes difficult too.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't happen that often, but,
Yeah.
and usually, it's pretty easy to make another choice, but that's kind of some issues sometimes.
I think that's the case with all kinds of with appliances, with shingles. We're always running up against these manufacturers who sometimes seem like they don't give a shit about the customer. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why would you do that? Why would you cancel that and just never have another one on the shelf? I mean, we need something.
Yes, we struggle with that. Sometimes they discontinue a good seller.
Yeah.
Why are you? Well, because they've got other parts of the country that are not selling it.
Right.
So I think these manufacturers, if they're not selling thousands and thousands of an item, it'll just go to the chopping block. I mean, that's part of my frustration as well, is like every 6 months, I deal with probably 50, 60, 70 manufacturers. Every 6 months, they're coming out with new product. Well, they come out with new product. You got to discontinue product, and then stuff becomes discontinued. We got to sell it off the floor. You got to replace it. But that, honestly, if you keep up with it, that's how come our showroom is so up to date and fresh and new. Yeah. And as far as the finished samples, I mean, that's another thing that I try to do as well, is try to have as many colors in the showroom as possible. So even if you pick out this light, I don't have that light on display, but here's a different light in the same finish, or we have color samples. So I try to get a really good mix on that. And I will tell you, I don't ever just place a display order. I kind of work for them and the salespeople, and I always get their feedback on like what do I order, what colors do you guys want, because they're the ones actually selling it.
Sure.
So we're real. Again, I keep saying this, but we're really a good team, and we work really well together.
He's a great boss.
Oh,
That's
great
good.
boss.
That's good. There you go.
It just makes it way more fun.
You're done.
You don't have the drama.
Should I throw the mic down and I'll walk out?
But yeah, I hear people say that all the time. Just like they'll come up to me and say, "Hey, I saw that house you built, and it was just fantastic." I'm like, "Well, I got to tell you, I didn't build that house. Wieland Builders built that house, and it takes an incredible team, you guys included, and it takes so many people to be able to do what you do. I don't think that anything is a dictatorship, and if you do think that way, then I think you're probably in trouble. But you need there's the ego. You cannot have that 70s 80s ego.
No,
you have to be open to working with your team, taking suggestions from everybody, listening a lot more than talking, and understanding. These are all. I should write all this stuff down because I don't think I do any of this stuff.
Right. Well, I will tell you. I've been doing this 32 years, and there's a lot. We know a lot of builders, and we hear all kind of things. And I will tell you, I've never heard one bad thing about Wieland Builders.
Oh wow!
No, I recommend you guys.
There are many builders that we hear many bad things about certain builders, and it's a shame because you want to build a house and be happy, and then. If I was building a house with you, I would want you to be my friend after we're done. I wouldn't want to hate you after we're done. And I think a lot of homeowners end up hating their builder because of fights and aggravation and stuff. But we don't ever have a customer come in and go, Wieland sucks. And, no.
I'll tell you, I feel the same way about you guys. And we are in a process right now of reviewing all of our trade partners and suppliers. And we go down through and talk good and bad. We have a list of maybe 8 or 9 questions and that we're asking ourselves and how the performance is with everybody and good, bad. And then we also have that with our customers. We do a survey with them at the end, and everybody loves Lisa. They love the experience they get at Lighting EFX. I mean, it's I know we're just kissing each other's butt. But I mean, it's true. And that's why you're here. That's the reason why you're here. But it's not just that. I mean, I was telling Alex from Custom Distributors the other day, this is, you are not just a clerical position. I mean, you are a detrimental part of our team, and all of you together. And it's really important to us. And we trust the fact that when our customers go over there, that you got a process, that you know what you're doing, and you're going to take care of them. And that's really, really important.
Right. I mean, everybody probably, I know that it's not that way, but it is definitely is a process. I mean, it's a lot of work to sell a customer a light fixture, to ordering it, stocking, holding it, stocking it, delivering it, servicing it. I mean, there's many facets to sell one light fixture to one person.
Absolutely.
That nobody kind of realizes.
Yeah. So do you think that you put the lamp builder out of business? I mean, do you think that, people, we used to do a lot of switched outlets, or half hot, and because we were planning on putting a lamp somewhere, you're planning on doing it. Now we still do a lot of lamps because it's part of the decor. Right. But the majority of what we're doing is we're paying attention to the light fixtures. What's the? I mean, every bedroom probably has a light fixture in it, fan light, whatever. What's the most unique thing that people are overlooking today to where you're like, I had no idea. That was really cool. I mean, gas lanterns, like you're talking about that brush brass or the brush or the antique brass and the brushed gold. What's the most unique light fixtures that we're putting into these houses that people are just like, I never thought about that?
So some is the color changing their, what's it called? C color, where you can flip a little switch and get either 2,700 degree Kelvin all the way up to 5,000 degree Kelvin.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's another tricky thing is the light bulbs today are not, before it used to be, do you want a candle base or a medium base?
Right.
It's not, it's like, there's so many
I go
shapes
nuts
and
looking for
color
light bulbs.
temperatures.
I hate that.
Yeah.
That is.
And that's, I mean, something that we talk to with the clients is, do you like this shape of bulb? So I know exactly from that meeting, because of the shape of the bulb changes the whole fixture too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes we'll send out like 20 different light bulbs, different styles of light bulbs for a fixture.
The light bulb manufacturers have just like, they're the most brilliant people ever because they've got it away for us to have to buy 6 light bulbs just to figure out which one light bulb we need.
Yeah.
And I do that every single time because I'm trying to match up what we already have.
Yeah.
And is it white or is it brown or is it natural or whatever they're calling it? And I got to write a check to get out of there in order to understand which light bulbs I need. But
Right.
Yeah. So
again,
that is becoming a lot.
sorry.
And right
Yeah.
again, it's not just a light fixture we're selling. Half the fixtures take bulbs. So you're selling a light fixture and you're selling bulbs and having to explain that to a customer. But having all the lights we have in the showroom makes it easy to say, well, this is what this bulb looks like. This is what this. But it's amazing how certain bulbs can change the way a light fixture looks.
oh yeah.
6 different light bulbs can make that fixture look 6 different ways.
But that's part of the look of the light fixture, right? When you pull up, especially on exterior lights anyway, when you pull up to the house, it's what do they call that when it shines off, what it looks like on the reflection. When it comes off of, because when you pull up to some houses and you look at the garage lights, it's got almost like a shadow here and a light here and a shadow here. And that's completely different than just looking at the light fixture itself.
Right.
Yeah.
Add some interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah.
And then you think about the gas light fixtures, those are kind of popular.
Yeah, we're selling more and more of those.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised, but yeah, they're
The
very
gas
popular.
light's nice.
Yeah, we finally found a couple of good manufacturers that make good quality stuff.
Those are tough.
Time you're messing with gas and fire, you don't want something cheap.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
that's not making the what am I thinking about? The earth friendly.
Right.
There's people up in northern Ohio who are putting a moratorium on gas lines running to houses and all that kind of crap. But I think those things are neat. We we haven't had a lot of experience with them just because people end up going a different direction. But yeah, so
They sure look nice.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Back to your point about the newer things too. So they're starting to make these lamps, usually for exterior, but they're like little lamps that'll be almost like a lantern you take with you, where they have like a charge. They'll maybe last 15 hours.
That's pretty cool.
That have really cool shapes, like what's it called? Renovation hardware.
Restoration hardware. Yeah.
Restoration hardware has them. I mean, we have access to them. They're little exterior, really cool lamps, but now they're changing it, expanding it. We probably more like in 25 or something, where it could be a pendant light or where you don't have to actually run the electricity to it,
man.
but it would only be like a 15-hour charge.
like a charge
Yeah.
by USB. And,
So I can see a trend going towards
non-electric.
that non-electric.
The cars are eating up all the electric, and the light fixtures are giving it back.
Everybody needs electric. So let's not change that.
Yeah, we're gonna, but seeing a little bit of that in the technology of, like one customer was all the red RGB, the red, blue, green colored tape and things like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's
the
right.
controls.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I mean, the tape light that we sell out of our place is unbelievable. I mean, I know I do it for your jobs all the time. When we talk about it all the time. We buy them in 100-foot rolls and we just cut them to length. And she gives me the length and we cut them and put them in little baggies and label them where they go.
Personalized service.
Yeah, but it's amazing
This is labeled.
I just recently put some of that tape lighting in my own house, and it's really a cool thing. It's super cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love that you
super,
guys
super cool.
do a lot of your built-in cabinets and
Everything's got
you
it.
do that.
Yeah.
I'm positive that my electrician's driving around with a truck full of just tape lighting because he's always like, oh, we're gonna do more of that. But it beats the heck out of those old little small fluorescent bulbs that we used to put on there, and it would looks like it's just a store turning on when you're trying to turn them on. So
like under cabinet lights used to be used for accent. Really cool. That was terrible.
But even our cabinet makers now they're routing the lines into the cabinets themselves. Yeah. They're pre-drilling the holes. They're giving us a place in the bottom of the cabinet to put the transformers, because when we first started doing it, we were burying the transformers above the cabinets behind the crown mold, and somebody said, hey, those things aren't going to last forever. Yeah. You need to think about accessing those. So we started changing all of that. It revolves a lot around this lighting that we're doing with the tape lighting.
Yeah.
Pretty neat. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah, and the old rope lighting. Think about that when we used to do the crown molding, and we'd lay that rope lighting in there. It was ambiance,
turn all yellow and yucky.
Yeah, the look of romance.
The tape lighting is really cool.
Yeah, you guys do such a great job with the extra lighting to create, just the different effects, the ambiance, and kind of add some shadows. But
we don't want anything to be standard. I think this is an opportunity for us to do something above and beyond. My son's always like talking about these people are going to build a house, and he goes, but you're too expensive. And I said, we are not too expensive. We're expensive. I mean, this is the house. This is the type of builder that we are. We build these houses, and there's nothing standard about them, So you want to do this cool stuff. You want to light it up, from landscape lighting to under cabinet lighting to just regular light fixtures. We want to do this cool stuff.
And we deal with the same thing. I mean, we're expensive, and it's because we're carrying quality lighting. You're a quality builder. You get what you pay for.
Yeah,
and
we're not a
customer
Menards,
service.
we're not a Lowe's, we're not a Home Depot, and I don't want those customers, or a lot of those customers don't realize that the lighting in those places is, it's cheap for a reason.
Right.
We carry inexpensive, but we don't really carry cheap because I need,
right. And some of our manufacturers, correct me if I'm wrong, Todd, that they will sell to Home Depot, Lowe's, but it's not apples to apples. We have a different quality.
And that's the same thing with our plumbing fixtures. Same thing with John Deere tractors. Same thing with appliances. Then people don't realize that, but it's not the same quality. It's not the same build. I mean, in our plumbing guy, John from Moen, he always says, take that Lowe's box of the same exact plumbing fixture and hold your box next to it. Ours weighs 19 pounds and that one weighs 6 pounds. Yeah. And that's the same thing with those light fixtures too.
It's funny. All those years, my wife just kept pounding on me like, you get what you pay for. You get what you pay for.
Right.
And I never believed it until I'm like, now I'm old now. You're exactly right. You do get what you pay for. So
I freak my dad out all the time because I'm always talking to people, your success is my success. The better you do, and the more excited we are to watch that happen. And so I'm always talking to people, and I'm like, how can we make sure that you're successful? How can we? Is there a chance for us to pay you more money? Which would mean
yes.
But you can't just go, that picture is now $100. You have to provide a service for it, and I want to get that service out of you because I think you possess a certain amount of skills and all these different things. So we want to max that out and give you more of an opportunity. And my dad would always be like, oh my God, I can't believe you're saying that.
No, but you're right. You're 100% right. I mean, you are. I mean, hands down, 100% right.
Yeah.
You're fantastic to work with. Oh. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
So
thank you. I appreciate
there are many builders
like a dog, but I appreciate that.
Yeah. There's many builders I deal with, and
So let's talk about. I think one of the coolest things, I did it here, and I think and we kind of did it on our house when we were building it. But when I'm looking at light fixtures, and I have no idea what I'm doing, so I get on. We come and talk to you, but we get online first probably. But one of the cool things is like in your website. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you have like a bag, right? Where I can go on your website and I can start tooling around and moving things over to the cart and this is like a wish list. This is the kind of stuff that I like. I think that is so super helpful because we talk to people all the time about what we need. People always come like, how long does it take you to build this house? I'm like, don't worry about how long it takes me to build the house. When we're talking about time, we need to know how much time you have to dedicate to this project. And if instead of being 4 hours in your showroom, and if they can be there for 2 because they did online and they picked out families that they like, you've had a chance to review it. And when they come in, now you've already kind of know where their head's at. I think that's super helpful, and that's really good on your part to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah. And the website is set up that way where you search for, like, if you want black fixtures or bronze or gold, then you just you navigate to that. and you can even put a price range and everything. So you're navigating to what you want, and then they share it with us. And then you're right, when they come in, half the battle is over. We know what you like, then we can steer you to the right stuff. So you're exactly right about that. That website has been so helpful.
Oh yeah, I think that is really, because, and the other thing too is a lot of people we deal with are maybe not necessarily in town, so they're somewhere else, and they need to be able to do a lot. There's no reason for anybody not to be able to do a lot of things online today. And I think the other thing that you do really well is we do an electrical walkthrough on the site, and so you come out, Lisa, to the job site and you walk through with the customers and do the electrical walkthrough with us. And again, you're not just tailing around, following us around. You're looking at it going, this is that light fixture. This is what we need. This space, that space may be too small, maybe too big, maybe it's perfect, whatever it is. But you're confirming everything that we did, instead of when we get this, $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 light fixture out there and we go, oh, it doesn't work. That's really, really important. So can you talk to us about your experience with that? It's probably not bad doing this walk, because we just had this conversation. Our production meetings are on Wednesday morning, and there's nothing worse than, because we were talking about getting our electrical walkthroughs out of the way before Christmas, because there's nothing worse than doing an electrical walkthrough in December 24th, and it is minus 12 degrees, and you're in this cold basement walking around down there, and it just sucks. So let's get it done.
I've done a few like that with you guys, but so it's very helpful. Just ceiling heights too can be tricky. Fixtures will come with a certain amount of chain or stems or something. So oftentimes it helps me realize, oh, I need to order extra chain, or I need to get extra stems for that. Sizing, and then sconce, like where to mount a sconce, and knowing what size mirror, that kind of thing. It's just super helpful. And I love the way your electrician, can I say Steve?
Yeah. Yeah. He's only wanted in 3 states, and this isn't one of them, so nobody will listen to it outside of here.
He's great, but boy, he's who, if I ever build a house, I'd build it with you guys for sure, but just knowing like where you want the switch, what makes sense to where, on this wall or that wall. He is so good with that. Yeah. Because, sometimes people don't think of that until you live there for a while. Then I wish I put a switch over there or something, But so that's super helpful, knowing where the switching goes. But for me, it's for the size of the fixture, just to confirm that everything's working, and knowing if they want to add more light somewhere.
You can only look at things on paper so long and understand really what it's going to be all about until you get out there in the house, and then you start walking around and you're like, this makes sense, the scale of it and everything that goes on. Steve, you're right. He does an incredible job. Our customers love him. Yeah. You love him. Yeah. I think that he's mean. But he's so to speak, he's a lot like me. He's been doing it since he was born. His dad did it, his uncles did it, and he's got an incredible memory that I don't know if he's lying to me or what, but I mean, it's amazing that you'll ask him about a house that we built 4 or 5 years ago, and he's, no, that's not what we did. This is what we did. This is where that switch was. He remembers where the wiring goes. He remembers all sorts of things, and it's really, really helpful to be out there. But I'm glad that everybody gets along with Steve, because if he was ever on the chopping block, he'd have like a whole bunch of people come in. No, don't get rid of him. We love him.
He's great. All your service people, everybody's great. Your project managers.
So what are we missing here? I know we're talking about lighting, and I think about it in a different aspect than what customers think about. But I know you have some notes, and did we cover all of your top? I want to make sure that you get your voice heard here, because Todd's been doing all the talking, and I feel like Lisa needs to have a time on. Oh gosh, I'm just kidding.
Well, here, I'll look at
one thing was the ceiling is like the fifth wall in the room, so it has to get some attention too.
That is super cool. I've never heard that expression, because we talk about it all the time. Ceiling, because we have on our plans, we have reflective ceiling details on our plans. Yeah, and that's not a lot of people do that. And a fifth wall. Yeah. Wow. And did you patent that? Did you get that from somewhere? You better patent that.
That's the first time I've heard it. That's fantastic.
This is man.
Wow. But the adding the cove lighting, or the recessed cans, whatever type of lighting makes a big difference. And just adding that beautiful chandelier on that fifth wall just makes a big.
I mean, that's a good point, because we talk about can lights all the time, and can lights seem to be a big hit. You know, I mean, that's what everybody wants. But I feel like the can lights are kind of like the bushes around a tree. You know, I mean, the tree is just the one that like it pulls your eye to it and you're looking at it. But everything else is kind of just enhancing it, and that's what the can lights do. But we have a lot of sayings going on here today. That was really good. The fifth wall, when you're looking at the fifth wall. But you're right. The can lights can be dimmable, and then everything kind of shines up around that light. That's really cool.
Yeah. And I think the different layers, of lighting, you need to be able to see, obviously, the task lighting. But then also you want more of the ambient light of, being able to dim things down so that you can just be more comfortable at dinner.
Yeah. Right. I mean, do people think about that? When you walk into a room and you flip the light on, you just want to see. Or does it set the tone? Does it set the mood? And how does that make you feel? Because as we always say, we have a saying that architects say that you feel comfortable in a room and you don't know why. And it might be the ceiling height. It might be the size of the room. It might be the people in the room. It might be, but the lighting is a big deal. If it's a scorcher and it's 500, Kelvin or 5 million Kelvin in there, and you're like, oh my gosh, you feel like you got a tan when you left, but you probably didn't feel comfortable. Right. But if it's just right, and correct me if I'm wrong too. Phil Shrimper told me this a long time ago from JP Flooring when he owned it, that he, in his showroom, he had specific lights that had a certain Kelvin to them that they would put off the actual daylight, the normal, the natural light. So when people are picking out floors, you're not having to take it outside and all those things. I mean, that again, that goes back to that lighting, how important that is.
Yep.
Or the meat department at Kroger.
That's for sure.
Right, yeah. We've got some jewelry stores and same thing where they want those diamonds to sparkle. I mean, you have the right type of lighting, and
that's a good point too, because they light up all their boxes. They light up, man.
Crystal chandeliers, the specific Kelvin, usually like 4,000 or something to make the color sparkle on the prisms. Wall sconces, your lamps, because it's oftentimes, especially like your dining table, sometimes you use it for different things. Sometimes it's putting a puzzle together or homework, so you need to have brighter light or the ability to be able to up the lighting with the dimmer, put it on full, or an extra lamp or sconces or something.
And that's another thing that you bring up, a good point where we're doing more of this is people are projecting the art that they're going to have on the wall, or they're going to have something specific on the walls, and we're wiring for that, and then we're putting those. What do you call those lamps that hang down at
picture lights?
Yeah, it's a picture light.
Picture lights, art light, picture light, art light. Yeah.
So
those are nice.
we do that a lot, and that's something that people just don't necessarily think about. That's something that's really cool that you can do that can enhance the house. But people are like, that's only in mansions and rich people's houses, and maybe it is, but it's still something you can do that's really neat. Lighten up bookshelves, lighten up all kinds of things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And just the simple fact that LEDs have come so far, and LED is integrated into fixtures, allows some of these manufacturers to make just absolutely stunning, beautiful fixtures that 5-10 years ago you couldn't even do.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been in our showroom lately, but I mean, some of the stuff we've got in there is just absolutely stunning. I mean, it's one thing to see it on a screen or in a magazine or a book, but to see it in real life, and it's amazing what they're doing now with these LEDs and how they can hide those things. And it's absolutely stunning. You should come in the showroom.
Yeah, I should.
I mean, just in the last 2, 3, 4 months, we've made some major changes in the showroom. It's stunning, beautiful.
I agree.
We all talk about it. It's crazy what they're doing now. But then I feel like every 6 months, I mean, new stuff's coming out, and it's looking neater and neater. So when your customer that's coming in now is getting stuff the latest and the greatest. And they feel special, like they've got something that their neighbor down the street does not have.
And they expect it.
Yeah.
They don't expect to come in and be like, oh, does it have this? And you're going, what's that? I mean, you have to know it.
Yeah. If I had the same stuff hanging for the past 10 years, I mean, I wouldn't be doing any business. You have to keep the upkeep on that and have the latest and the greatest.
So for sure. You make a good point about those LED fixtures, and we could probably keep talking, but I mean, those LED light bulbs, it's amazing that, I mean, for one, they're plastic, I mean, and when you go to, it could be on and you just grab it and unscrew it. But it made a world of difference for us in the can light portion of it, where those things have thermostats in them. And then, we put them up into the attic, and the first thing we do is cover them with, 16, 18 inches of insulation. Then they get hot and then they shut off. And it was something that we dealt with, and especially in showers. And now it's not a mute point anymore. Yeah, non-issue.
In those days.
Yeah.
The can business was, it's horrible.
Yeah.
So it's non-existent anymore. Right.
Yeah. Lisa, what else you got?
So that every room in your house should reveal your story, and the lighting should reflect your style. So
I agree.
Because I think some people, maybe lighting's not important, and that's all fine. That's good. But, and I think being willing to invest in it too, because you can, just your foyer, your dining, your great room, your island lights, make those your focal, your statement pieces.
Hit it big in the popular areas. Yeah.
Yeah. And then you can, the bath lights, sometimes people will use the same bath light for their kids, you can get a really reasonable, nice bath light, $100, $150, but I would not be afraid to go big and invest in the lights that you really love.
One of the craziest things, one of the number one things I look at when I'm thinking about light fixtures, and especially outdoor, but is how are you going to clean it? But how many bugs is it going to trap?
Yeah.
And when you said that about the light fixtures in the bathrooms, you remember we used to do those. They're not mushrooms, but they have the sconces on them, but or the, what do you call them?
Glass.
The glass. I thought we had
a
a name
bowl?
for it. Yeah. It's got a bowl that's upside down, and all it does is just capture crap all the time.
Yeah.
And it drives you crazy, but that's something. I was in 2017, a guy that I know, Mike Williams, was building a house up there in Homerama with us, and they had every it's High Point Custom Homes, and he was,
everybody loves Mike.
Yeah, everybody loves Mike. And he's building this house, and the people he sold this house to just had this certain taste, and every light fixture in there had a million crystals hanging from it. And I mean, every single one of them. You know how the electrician is the one that's got to put all that stuff together and hang it up there. Yeah. And I was walking through there with him, messing around, and I looked up at his electricians on the ladder, and he's hanging these crystals. And I said, "Hey, how's it going?" And he looks down at me, and he's like, "I got 2 words for you."
Yeah, that's when electricians don't like us, when we sell lights like that. They're cussing us.
Yeah. I mean, literally, it takes like 3 or 4 hours. If someone wants to start a business of dressing crystal chandeliers, they would.
You could do it.
They would get business for sure, because it takes a long time.
I agree.
It depends on the size, of course, but.
well, let me flip the tables and put you on the spot.
Okay, let's do it.
So, with the recent election and all this other stuff, and maybe a lot of good stuff happening, how do you feel about the home building industry and dropping the rates a little bit? I mean, it's been a tough couple of years with the interest rates, and my business has been off probably 25-30% for a couple of years now, and I'm ready to get back to some greatness here. So what's your feeling on?
It's so hard to say, because I talk to builders all the time, and have just all my friends are in this industry and across the country, and we'll be super hot on a good streak and just going like crazy. And these other guys will be like, "Man, we're struggling. We just can't sell a house. We don't have anything going on." And then I'll talk to Alan Jr. and I'll be like, "Hey," he's, "Oh man, we sold 40 market houses this month," and I'm like over here trying to eat beanies and weenies just to stay alive. And so I don't know if I ever would have a handle on what it looks like.
Yeah.
It feels really good. I've always been a believer that we won't go back and redo the things that we made mistakes on before, which would be like things that led us up to the recession.
Right.
I think that the American people control the economy, and it's not necessarily led up to a president. Right. Now, we feel like Mr. Trump is going to just save the world, and we're all just, I'm more excited about J.D. Vance because he's a Middletown boy, and if you've ever seen Hillbilly Elegy, when you mention the word hillbilly to me, I get so excited because I want to see one of my own doing really good. But I think the American people are the ones who control the economy. The business owners are the ones who put their head down and go to work every single day. And to some aspect, I think the future of America looks at this politics like everybody's made such a mockery out of it that you could care less about what they're saying and what they're doing. And nobody ever does what they say they're going to do in running an election. Now, the flip side of that is that the economy does better when you feel more comfortable and you feel safe and secure with the people who are in charge,
100%.
right? I want the president of the United States to protect the United States of America and uphold the Constitution, and that's it. And I want all my local government to handle things around here and make sure that we've got places to build, people have places to live, people have jobs to work at, and as long as you have that, I think the economy is going to do really well. For us, I mean, when we deal with people who typically are on the high side of money, I mean, they've got money, they've invested money, they do well with their businesses, and they're whatever they do, but they do some pretty neat things, and we need that to continue. It's our business is so cool, and I think yours is probably the same way because you get to meet so many really neat people. You give me a chance to speak, and I just start talking. I'm like, shut up, Jeff.
Well, you're right. I mean, the wealthy have definitely got us through this tough time because I think you said Alan Jr. I mean, like not a lower end house, but I mean those houses that are 4, 5, 6, 700,000. I mean, those are tough now. But the people building $1 million homes, I mean, they have the money. They're not affected by these interest rates, and thank God those people are out there and they're spending the money. I mean, they've kept us through it. But I'm ready for everybody else to catch up.
I'm the same way. You want to see everybody doing well all the time. And I think sometimes you have to reach out. There's a guy that owns a couple car dealerships up around Lebanon, and I talked to him the other day, and he's like, "Man, I hate to say it, but we're doing really good." And that tells me that business is doing good. When my buddies owned the boat dealership over there, when they were doing good, you'd feel better about how things were going, and just so on. So you got to reach out and talk to all sorts of different people to understand what the economy is going to do. But I hope it's going to be good.
I do too. I hope it's going to be good. I really have high hopes for everything. I mean,
I do too. More than anything about this, so funny about the election is I wish somebody would start today and understand who's going to run in 4 years, because every time that we have an election, everybody's like, all these people in America, and these are the two clowns that we ended up with. How did we end up here?
Right.
But Mr. Trump's a smart man, and he's. I heard somebody describe him the other day as he's like that 70s and 80s businessman, where he's probably, he comes home and takes a suit and tie off and puts another suit and tie on just to watch TV. And his ego's as big as Texas. And he just talks to people in a different manner. And that's yesterday, but he's still, you get rid of all that crap, he's still just a super smart, good businessman. And some people feel like the America needs to be run by a business, and other people feel like it needs to be ran like a social club. And which side are you on? And I think they're both right. I don't think either one of them's wrong, but I'm excited to see how things go.
Me too.
I am too.
I mean, I get up, and we three get up every day. We probably work really hard. And it's like, they need to do the same thing. Do your job and do it right.
Work hard.
And help, because what you do affects us. So I'm excited about everybody doing their job right. And,
do you have any other questions for me? I mean, I'm just wondering.
Let me think. Yes.
How are your cows?
Oh man,
that's what I want to know about.
We talk about politics and cows all day long. They're doing good. They're it's been a rough year because it's been a drought, and so we worry about everything with like the building business. You worry about what's going to happen 9-10 months now, a year from now. So if we start feeding hay right now, or feeding it 2 months ago, like we've been doing, you got to worry about how much you're going to have later on, and how much. And if we roll into another drought next year, and then you don't have the grass, and then you don't have the hay, then we don't have any more cows. So that's one thing. But the other thing is cool is my kids are in 4-H, and so we've got rabbits and we've got cows, and we're taking them all to the fair. And last night we were making sure that they were signed up for 4-H for the following year, and so that's really kind of turned us to a different way of doing things. So I love living on the farm. I mean, I know you know where we're at because we live across the street from your friend up there. But so I love it. I love everything.
Do you just have cows to have them, or is it a business? I mean,
it's a business.
It's a business
that I don't make any money. So I love animals, and the way I got into this was I was a kid, and my dad had a couple horses growing up. We always had dogs and cats and things like that. And then when I was going into high school, my FFA teacher, and we had FFA in our school, which is different. A lot of people have an FFA, but it's at the vocational school. So ours was in Ross High School, and they recruited us, me and some friends of mine, and then my FFA teacher was still friends with him today, and one of my all time heroes, and he started saying, hey, let's start showing animals, and so we started showing sheep at the fair, and then we started showing cattle, and when I started showing cattle, I went to go work for that guy. And then I was going to school at Northern Kentucky University, and I hated it. It was boring. And I transferred up to Ohio State Agricultural School up in Worcester, and I went for construction and animal science. And I started working on a farm in Columbus, and it was just I love it. But animals give, I have to have this conversation with my daughter a lot. Animals give you a different sense of relief and relaxation, and just kind of fun to be around. And there's a lot of veterans that have to be around animals because it calms them down. But for me, when I pull into my driveway at night, I feel like there's been a weight of the world lifted off my shoulders. Take a deep breath, cruise on down, and then you get to see the kids and the cows, and I love every second of it.
Cows.
So
I love cows.
I do too.
We go to Hawking Hills all the time.
Yeah.
And one of the places when we stay, there's cattle right there. So we'll be on this nice house and relaxing, and then there's cattle right there. And we love it. Like we talk to them and everything. So,
yeah.
But let me ask you a strange question. What is a cow worth? I mean, is there a dollar amount on a
today?
cow?
I can tell you right now today, because I get these updates, and there's the market value for what we call fat steers, which is what somebody's going to take for meat. Okay. And those things are through the roof right now. So they do them by the 100 weight. So it's like $300 and something a pound, or 100 per 100 pounds. So it's $3 something a pound right now. Okay. And that is huge, because it used to be like 80 cents, 90 cents a pound, and it's gone way up through the years. But it's, it's the beef market. And then you have the cows, so that's a steer, and then, which is a boy that's got his stuff going, and he's been raised specifically for meat. And then you have a cow who's the mom, who's the factory, she's the one that's having the babies. So she's a different story. And you get into some of these businesses. Like I was in the Angus business for a long time, still am a little bit, but like the farm I worked on in Columbus, in Johnstown, those people owned the Cleveland Indians. They owned a radio station in Columbus. They had something to do. They were like Forbes top 500. I did some work for Mel Gibson out in Denver. I mean, there's all these people that were just stupid wealthy, and they had these cattle. So those cows, I'd go down to Lexington, Kentucky to go buy a cow, and I'm like, maybe I'll spend $5,000 on this cow, and she'd sell for $150,000 or $250,000, and just stupid money.
I just like, how much does a cow cost? They're that much money. Wow.
So we just, our cows are probably anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000, somewhere in there. Yeah, the $7,000 ones are few and
far
between.
How many do you keep on your farm?
We have 31 right now. Yeah, including all the babies and yeah. So we wanted to start with just a few, and then we just raise them all ourselves, because we're a beef breeding farm. So we're breeding the cows and creating more cows, and that's what we want. So we sell freezer beef, and we sell cows.
So we need to get a crystal chandelier for your barn.
Yes,
we can do, don't we?
Yes.
You got lighting for wellness of people. We should do an experiment for lighting of wellness of animals.
I don't think you sell the lights that I need out there, but there's because it's an agricultural thing. Lights. So I am a freak show about this, because on the first farm that we owned, Shannon and I lived out in Blanchester, in the middle of nowhere, and when it start getting dark at 5 o'clock, it makes it tough to farm cows, especially when you're having babies in wintertime. So on our new farm, when we moved over here, we've been there almost 6 years now, and every chance I get, I ran electric somewhere, because I'm like, I'm gonna light this up. I'm gonna light this up. So now whenever we go somewhere, man, you flip a switch and it's what it lights up. So yeah, it's really important. It's important in barns, and you say that, and it's a funny comment, but that again, there it is. It's important not just in the house, but it's important everywhere.
Yeah. Do you play music in the barn?
We do, and that's what we were talking about before. I'm buying that speaker. I shouldn't say that, because in case my kids leave. I want to get a speaker for the barn so we can hook our Bluetooth up to it. Right now we have this old radio in there, and it depends on where the antenna is touching the metal of the barn now, depending on how good a reception we get for it. Nice. But the cows, the show cows, need to listen to that music. So when they're at the fair and all that noise and all that stuff is going on, then it'll make them feel more like that's not the first time they've been in that chaos. So yeah, and
I thought maybe like classical, relaxing music or something.
That's they do that for what is that meat that they do now, where they're bovine or something? No, it's Wagyu. So they're playing soft music. They're petting them. They're giving them baths. They're calming them down, because they feel like that the last minute before they die, if they're really calm, then that has a different effect on the quality of the beef. And
that's cortisol or something.
Yeah. John Wayne's rolling over in his grave.
I just want to eat it. I don't want to talk about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, this has been so awesome. And I mean, if you have any other questions,
no, this is kidding.
Well,
this is so awesome. Thank you.
Beef and stuff. Jags is called us to do some lighting for. They have some cabinets.
Cool. Nice.
And it lights bourbon. If you have a collection of something, those cool cabinet lights.
Yeah.
So they need soft lighting for their bourbon displays.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So something about Jags, the chef that's in there, she is one of the very few chefs that's been recognized by Certified Angus Beef in the entire country. So when you go there and if you get a chance to talk to her, ask her about it and ask her if she's ever been written up in the Angus Journal. Okay. And she'll be like, who is this girl? Yeah. She'll be buying lights from you for sure.
Yeah. And I'll mention something too. I do feel like the economy's getting better and I feel like we're getting ready to get really busy. Lighting EFX is actually, we're going to take on a new salesperson. So if anybody out there is listening, is interested in getting into the lighting business, I would love to talk to you.
So let's talk about that. How do we find you? How do we find you guys? What do we do? What do we talk about?
Well, you can call either store. Just ask for Todd McKinley, or my email is real easy. It's toddefx@gmail.com. But yeah, get in touch with me or call me, anything.
Nice.
So
call anybody,
The Lighting EFX on Voice of America, the phone number is 513-777-1211.
Yeah. And that's right up the street from our office. Right. And so you take 75 north, get off at Tylersville, turn right where you're going east, and it's up there on the left-hand side. Yep. So it's right down the street from us, and just really good people.
Yeah, right next to Bonefish Grill, right to VOA Park. And so we're there. And then my other store is in Florence, Kentucky, and that's that phone number is 859-282-6400. And that's right in Florence, Kentucky.
And is it lightingefx.com?
It's just lighting. Oh, yeah, lightingefx.com.
Lightingefx.com.
That's right.
EFX.com.
We don't sell cows. We just sell lighting.
Hey, you talk about them, though. That's right. That's right. You want to talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah,
Stop in and see them.
Cow.
So I just want to say thank you again, not just for being here today. I know it's a lot to take out of your busy day to come in here and do this show,
great.
But the reason why we started this thing was just to talk to people, get to know them, learn about them, and learn about what you do, but also highlight the fact that how great you guys are and how you're part of our team at Wieland Builders and how we make these things happen here with all of our customers. So thank you. Thanks for being part of the team. Thanks for always being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
We're grateful.
Great.
That's it. Todd McKinley and Lisa Abraham from Lighting EFX. Here we go.
All right.
Hey, you guys heard me say it right before the interview got started, how grateful and how proud I am to work with Todd and Lisa. And as you listen through that, I hope you guys felt the same way. I hope you see what it's like to do business with small business owners. And they're a large business, but they operate like a small business, and what it's like to do business with good, real people. And I can't thank them enough for taking time out of their day to come over here. And for many, many years, we've been doing business with them for many, many years of service and taking care of our customers and taking care of us. This team, I have this conversation daily with potential customers, with other builders, with other people, just friends, family, whoever, that this team is what makes people want to build with Wieland Builders, and all the people in it, the communication, the setup, and everything that we have. All these people make this wheel go around. My world operates in phases, of course, but it also operates. I think it operates like a gear wheel. It's a big old wheel, and it's got a whole bunch of teeth on it. And if one of those teeth is missing or screwing up or not doing their job, then the wheel starts to jerk, and the whole machine starts to jerk. And next thing you know, things start getting loose and falling apart, and it doesn't work very well. And every one of these people is a wheel for or is a tooth for the Wieland Builders wheel, and we need every single one of them very much so. So I'm grateful. Thank you for being here, Todd and Lisa. You guys have done a great job. You've always done a great job with us, and we're grateful for all that you guys do with us. Thank you, everybody, for listening to the show. Once again, we are nearing the end of the year. We have our next guest is going to be with House Trends Magazine, and we're going to talk to them about how their operation works, the design features, all the kind of things that go into a magazine. And they're a local magazine here in Southwest Ohio that do a wonderful job with us in Homrama, and I've known them for a number of years. So that'll be our next guest. And then we have another couple spots there leading up to the end of the year. And then we're going to talk about next year a little bit. So thank you again. If I want to remind you to subscribe to the WB Download on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast service at. But make sure you check out that YouTube deal, because it's really cool and it's really helping us get a lot of more of a bigger audience. Our episodes drop on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. Don't forget that. Tune in. And of course, they're always online. So if you ever want to go back and re-listen to another one, check it out. And if you want to be part of the conversation, send questions or topics, or if you want to be a guest or prove me wrong on something, feel free to email me at WB Wieland Builders, WB download at wielandbuilders.com, WIELAND builders.com. And if you want to check out the awesome houses that we get to build and work on and finish every day, go to our website, wielandbuilders.com, and see what we have in store for you. Hey, thanks again, everybody. We appreciate you being here. I'm Jeff Wieland here for the WB Download.